I have been a new earther for well over 15 years, if there is such a thing, such an acronym, but let's just use that. For me, it's always addressing the root cause and finding the root cause of the challenges that we face. And so I can empathize a lot with what people are struggling with, because our heart is saying this world isn't a true world. When you go and study the Gnostic understandings from way back in the 1500s and 1400s, already then there were awakened souls walking the earth that recognized that the world of man that was being created around them based on taxes and systems of governance, that it was formulated as a bad copy, a false copy of the original blueprint, the original metric that obviously is syntropic. So this living in an entropic environment that is mostly a mindscape that has been created as society forms itself, in our inner being, there's a misalignment with it. And it's only when we reclaim our own host role and when we reclaim and restore our own wholeness, in my own experience, that we really get a way out of that. And one of the challenges for me in that sense around money was that in order to financially break free, so to speak, and stay true to my own heart, I felt I had to participate in the bad world, in the world that I've found to be a matrix of programs and beliefs and orientations that I had unresolved frequencies around. And that was when I left the Netherlands and the lead up to that. And of course, in hindsight, I can take those things as a blessing. But I wish that this type of conversation would have come into my field, let's say 10 years ago, and I would have had ears to hear it. Because the hardest thing about all of this is actually not the addressing of relationship out there. It's the relationship in here. That, and for me, it's not just about shifting belief systems or reprogramming our mind so that we put a lot of affirmations on our mirror that say, I'm open to the abundance of the universe. There is a realignment with our inner truth. And over that inner truth has set for me a lot of hurt and a lot of pain and a lot of burden. And I was not willing to feel that. And what I instead did, I just became a new earther, and I dreamt a beautiful dream, and I lived a courageous and bold and unique life and walked a very narrow path. But was it filled with abundance? No, there was always just enough. And that's fine. But does it provide me with the more relevant comforts, like my own shelter, that I don't have to figure out how I'm going to put the rent together over the next 6 months, or all those thoughts. And a lot of my journey started shifting when I started this path of awakening sovereignty, looking at the language programs, and really starting to slowly recognize that I was orientating myself in a disempowered way because of that hurt, but my language that I used because of that was not aiding me. And so I stopped also saying after a while, I can't, or I don't know, or the sentences that were based on I need this. Once I studied Syntropy, I realized the original metric, the original blueprint, is based on abundance. And what sits in the way of that is programming, but that programming is held by my stories that I was still barking up against within myself. And that had very much to do with the world of man, with the dissatisfaction and the resentment, really the resentment towards the matrix. And that's a toxic brew. It's, it's nice to dream about a new civilization and a new generation that changes the direction as to where we're all going collectively. But if underneath that there is a resentment that drives that vision, well, You can't generate abundance out of a toxic soil environment. It doesn't really work.